I wanted to be an actor who could move other people and make other people see something about the human spirit, and you've made me feel that I've made a small step towards that. So thank you very much, everybody.
Every move she made was calculated for success, yet her skyrocketing trajectory mysteriously leveled off. Was she being blackballed, or was there another factor at play? As it happens, the truth is far more intricate than anyone guessed. It is vital to clarify a detail that often gets overlooked in the standard narrative of her downfall. Mira Sorvino was never some wide-eyed newcomer. Her father, the esteemed character actor Paul Sorvino, tried to steer her away from show business because he understood the toll it takes on a person. Instead, she attended Harvard, finishing with high honors in East Asian studies after a year of immersion in China to master Mandarin and writing an award-winning paper on Chinese racial dynamics. With those credentials, Hollywood was a conscious choice, not her only option. She was not desperate for a paycheck or a spotlight. She weighed her high-level alternatives and chose the craft of acting regardless. From the start, her professional choices reflected a woman who knew exactly what she was doing. Following Quiz Show in Barcelona, Woody Allen selected her for Mighty Aphrodite. This remarkably sharp intellectual portrayed a bubbly, dim-witted sex worker with such precision that she became the focal point of the entire industry. She swept the major awards, from the Oscar and Golden Globe to the National Society of Film Critics. These were not just polite nods of approval, they were expressions of pure, unadulterated excitement for a new star. For a brief window, the industry was in total agreement. What followed her big win appeared to be a textbook example of a perfectly managed career path. Her performance in 1997 in Romy and Michelle's high school reunion showcased a side the Academy had not seen. She was genuinely, brilliantly funny. It was not forced humor. She possessed a natural grace and a gift for physical comedy, along with a total lack of ego that allowed her to be wonderfully absurd. The film evolved into a cult classic that people are still quoting 25 years later. That same year, she starred in Mimic, a high-budget horror project from Guillermo del Toro that carried significant creative weight. She took the lead role there, followed by the 1998 action flick The Replacement Killers with Chow Yun-fat, and then Summer of Sam in 1999. Working with Spike Lee on that ensemble piece signaled her transition into more profound, dramatic territory under a director with massive artistic clout. From award-winning dramas and beloved comedies to big-budget horror and prestige ensemble films, this was the resume of an artist meticulously building a legacy, not someone resting on their laurels. Yet, the expected compounding effect of her success simply vanished. The high-profile roles stopped coming. For a long time, the underlying cause remained a total mystery. To grasp the reality of Mira Sorvino's situation, you have to look at the landscape of the mid to late 90s, especially regarding the environment for women. The industry was producing massive stars at the time. Julia Roberts commanded such enormous paychecks and cultural dominance that she existed in a sphere entirely by herself. Sharon Stone had transitioned into serious drama after Casino, and Winona Ryder was effectively the face of her entire generation. Gwyneth Paltrow was becoming the primary choice for every prestige script, eventually securing her own Academy Award in 1999. These actresses occupied the very peak of an incredibly steep pyramid. The pool of available lead roles for women was tiny, significantly smaller than what was offered to men, making the rivalry for those spots incredibly cutthroat. A single hit could solidify a career for decades, but one wrong move could completely kill a star's momentum. We need to pause on that thought because it highlights that the Hollywood system was not just competitive, it was incredibly brittle. Even seemingly solid careers could be derailed by a quiet conversation in a private office where the actor was not even present. The power to decide who got the part, who was invited to audition, or who was subtly pushed aside, rested with a tiny circle of producers and studio executives who managed the entire flow of talent. This extreme density of power was not just a side effect of what happened to her, it was the very tool used to make it happen. Harvey Weinstein was the head of Miramax, the studio that marketed Mighty Aphrodite and launched Sorvino into the stratosphere. During the mid-90s, he was arguably the most influential figure in prestige filmmaking. He functioned as an industry gatekeeper, a man whose silent approval or sudden rejection altered fates in ways that were impossible to track or contest. I want to express my gratitude to Harvey Weinstein. Thank you, Harvey. I am especially grateful to Harvey. This was the same Harvey Weinstein who championed us and produced this film. Harvey and Bob Weinstein, may God bless them. Yet Sorvino had already rejected his unwanted sexual advances on several different occasions. She eventually revealed to reporter Ronan Farrow for the 2017 New Yorker, exposed that the consequences were felt almost instantly. The phone stopped ringing, and the steady stream of projects simply evaporated. She characterized the experience as total radio silence. That description hits so hard because it is not dramatic at all. In fact, it is the polar opposite of drama. There was no big fight or clear moment of being fired, there was just a void, which is exactly how these power plays function. Because opportunity just stops, there is no physical evidence left behind. The truth only surfaced from a completely different source in December of 2017, when Peter Jackson was casting his Lord of the Rings films. During the early development phase at Miramax, Jackson revealed that Weinstein's team explicitly warned him against hiring Sorvino and her fellow accuser, Ashley Judd. He was informed that they were difficult and a nightmare to manage on set. He had no reason to doubt the warning back then, but he later realized it was a smear campaign that effectively deleted them from his casting consideration. When Sorvino finally read the details of Jackson's account, she broke down in tears. She said it was the final proof of a suspicion she had carried for decades, but could never validate. Filmmaker Terry Zwigoff confirmed a similar pattern. When he tried to cast her in Bad Santa, he noted that every time he mentioned her name to the Weinstein brothers, the phone would simply go dead. Just a click, then nothing. More than just a collection of scandals, Mira Sorvino's story exposes the massive chasm between Hollywood's public myth and its private reality. The industry sells us a dream of pure meritocracy. The narrative is that talent eventually wins and hard work pays off, with the Oscar serving as the ultimate proof that the best work is always rewarded. Sorvino held the trophy. She had the respect of critics, a sharp business mind, and immense range. She was anything but a passive participant in her own life. She was building a future with clear intent. Her story serves as a warning that even the highest levels of success offer no real safety from those in power. It shows that the gate to stardom is guarded by individuals whose motives rarely align with the industry's public promises. That is more disturbing than a simple scandal because it means the system was not failing. It was performing exactly as it was intended to by the men who built it. Sorvino was just one of many, alongside Rosanna Arquette, Annabella Sciorra, and Rose McGowan. You could see talented women lose their momentum right at the peak of their success, sidelined by invisible forces that created a clear, troubling trend. It only required a label. Mira pushed forward regardless, taking television parts and indie gigs that valued her talent without needing Hollywood's permission. Her portrayal of Marilyn Monroe in Norma Jean and Marilyn earned her an Emmy nomination. Her starring role in a television project titled Human Trafficking became the primary catalyst that steered her toward a very different path in life. She eventually became a global representative for the United Nations, provided testimony to congressional committees, and addressed the full General Assembly. Her advocacy sparked groundbreaking anti-sexual harassment legislation in California and broadened the legal window for survivors in New York. She launched the Mira Sorvino Foundation, an organization dedicated to social equity and aiding those who survived domestic abuse. While many viewed her pivot as a way to make the best of a bad hand, I believe she finally found the substance that her acting career lacked. She gained a purpose that outlasts opening weekend totals, all while maintaining her presence in the acting world. By 2019, Netflix put her in Hollywood, metacasting her as a star blacklisted by a mogul. She later joined Sound of Freedom in 2022. Fast forward to 2025, and her Broadway run in Chicago proves she hasn't lost a single bit of her star power. Fast forward to 2025, and 20th Century Studios is actually developing a Romy and Michelle follow-up, which proves that the cult favourite she filmed while the industry was freezing her out is finally getting its flowers. Her devotees stayed loyal through the years, and there is one specific detail that stays on my mind. Mira Sorvino was a cum laude Harvard grad who entered the movie business on purpose and secured the top award in her field. Yet after proving her range and talent, she spent years wondering why the roles had simply dried up. Back in the 90s, a few gatekeepers had the absolute power to decide who stayed relevant and who vanished, a reality she did not fully grasp at the time. The system that took its place isn't any more ethical, it is just a lot more disorganized. Official blacklists are a thing of the past. Today, talent is simply deemed too pricey, hazardous, or controversial to cast. Studios avoid the drama of a direct rejection. They offer excuses about creative alignment instead. Over the last several years, professionals have seen their livelihoods vanish for taking sides politically or making one social media blunder. Pressure mounts from activists and nervous corporations alike. Production houses and streaming giants monitor every controversy, making cold, calculated decisions about who is still worth the investment. The major change is that the guards aren't just suits in offices anymore. Now, tech platforms, data trends, sponsors, and internet mobs all control the keys. You lose work not because of a single tyrant, but because the surrounding roar makes everyone too nervous to hire you. The classic blacklist was top-down. You recognized your enemies back then. In the modern era, the barriers are omnipresent. Currently, living in Los Angeles with her spouse and 4 kids, Mira continues her mission with the United Nations while steadily expanding her legacy. Between her 2025 stage debut and a new sequel, her 2 decades of activism remain her most enduring achievement. Narratives often take unforeseen turns, much like this one. Thanks for sticking around. Crafting this perspective required some deep reflection. I wanted to cut through the static to find a more nuanced angle worth your consideration. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Has Hollywood really evolved since 2017, or are the shadows just deeper? I'm genuinely interested in your take on this. I really want to hear your perspective. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this, and subscribe for more. A huge thanks to our members. Your support fuels this channel. Check the link below to join us. If this is your first visit, welcome to a different kind of content. We favor philosophy over simple bios, focusing on meaning rather than just facts. As always, I will catch you in the next video.